So here's our orchid broken in the pot. I have been soaking it in water to loosen up the bottom roots that were poking out. I'm going to remove my sphagnum moss. I've honestly already loosened it up, but just for the sake of the video, I stuck it back in so I could show you step by step. Take it out of the water. Now, an important thing to remember is that sometimes the roots grow into the potting media, so don't try to pull all of it off. You'll end up breaking some really good roots and damaging your orchid. This should never be done while it's in bloom, flowering, or in bud. The only reason I'm doing it is because the pot won't stand upright and it won't hold any water, and I don't want my whole orchid to break. So I'm going to gently remove the top potting media, get it as loose as possible. I've already pre-loosened it so the video won't be 20 minutes long, but sometimes this can take a while. And always remember that your orchid can grow fast to the pot too. That's why I soaked it in water. Gently work out all the potting media you can. Slowly get it loose. Again, this can take a lot longer. If there's any roots sticking out the side, make sure that you gently tuck them in and don't rip them off. It's going to look like this. It's going to have lots of stuff stuck in it, stuck to it. Loosen up what you can, but remember, you do not want to damage the roots during this delicate stage. If you have gotten your orchid to rebloom, this is such a big deal right now. Loosen up all that you can. You don't want to cut roots right now. You don't want to do anything to the root system. All you want to do is get it loose, get out what you can. See the bottom there where they're sticking out. See, the roots can grow through the potting media. I don't know how well you can see that right there. Maybe my phone will focus as I'm videoing, but this is growing into it. This is attached to it. The roots grow straight through and you do not want to yank them off. And then you get your new pot. I usually have a lot better of a spot to do this at. Alright. Then you put some potting media on the bottom of your new container. I like to use Better Grow orchid mix because it has more than just bark in it, which is really good for your orchid. Then you gently make sure all the roots are going in. Luckily, I had another pot sitting around from an orchid I previously murdered. You just gently tuck them in without breaking. I heard a little snap. I hope I didn't break an important root. And then start to tuck in more media. Just tuck it in. This could take a while. Don't really shake it or else your blooms will and your buds will drop off. They're so delicate. All I did was touch one and it fell off, which is why there's tape around it. I am hoping that it will heal, but I doubt it. It didn't fully break off, so there is hope for that. I've read so many articles about doing this, and it's always a confusing thing whether you should use this or that, or should you sterilize stuff? Should you buy an X-Acto knife and boil it in water every time you do it? Me, I just get my hands in and do it. Fill it with potting mix. Eventually, as you water it and as it settles in, you may have to add some more because there are gaps in there. We didn't repot fully because that would be damaging to the growth of the orchid at this point. If you look closely there, you can see, let me move that I have two new stems forming, two new canes. They're in really good shape. They're all nice and green and pretty looking. The root system on this actually looks pretty healthy. This was last potted in June of last year. I ordered it on eBay. And the plant I got had 2 kikis on it. It had tons of yellow leaves all over this cane. It had spots all over it, which it's still recovering from. The leaves were split. It was not the specimen I thought it was. They must have really made sure that they only got the best angle when they took the picture of it. So I removed the kikis, which are growing happily in another pot. And I cut the damaged leaves, cut them in half, whatever I had to do to get rid of the rot. And put cinnamon on the edges, which really, really heals them up without allowing them to get fungus or mold, or it prevents further damage from happening. Alright, so I've got my orchid potting media in there nicely. I'm going to give those new canes some protection. Remember, you do not want to do this unless you have to. Like, you do not want to repot a blooming or in bud orchid unless something tremendous happens, which, as you saw earlier, my big cat decided to jump up on the window. It was a nice day in February. We opened the windows and he decided he wanted to be where the pot was. You can replace. You don't even have to use this if you don't want to. I find that it holds the moisture in better and keeps the plant healthier. This Spanish moss here, I'm going to use it not to completely cover up the canes, the new canes, but